Here's your first of the snaps design called the rocker arm. Now, one big thing that we need to think about as we're progressing is with the basics of CAD, we kind of just made the outline and we were good to go. We were learning how the software functions, how to do dimensions and all that good stuff. But now we're stepping our game up a little bit and we need to take a little bit more planning. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to determine if it is English or metric, because that changes the template that we're going to use. And the way I think about that is English is going to be in inches and metric is either in centimeters or millimeters. So if I have large numbers like 50s and 60s and 70s, I'm probably not going to use inches to measure that. It's probably in centimeters or millimeters. So if I see some smaller dimensions like 6 or 5 or maybe up to like 12, that's probably in English or inches. But I want to make sure that we're using metric, which means I need to use my metric template to start that off. And I'm completely off the page. Let me go over here. So I probably for this one need to use the metric template. So I'd open that up. I'm going to hit save as, and I'm going to save it as rocker arm. The second thing I'm probably going to do is choose my center point. And in this case, I kind of see that all of these dimensions are coming off of this spot right here. So I'm probably going to set that as my 0, 0, kind of like what we practiced with the original parts. And then last but not least, before I get into it, either with a piece of paper or in my head, I'm going to plan out my shapes. So when I look at my rocker arm, it looks like I have pretty basic shapes going on. Starting with that big 0, 0, it looks like I have a big old circle going on right there. And it looks like it's got a radius of 50 centimeters or millimeters. So that one's nice and easy. It looks like I have a circle going on right here with the radius of 25. Same thing going on right here. And notice they give us our center points too. So we're down 60 and over 50. We're up 40 and over 70. And we have a little tiny circle in there, which is easy peasy. We have a hexagon, which we'll learn how to do our polygons with. And we've got our square. There's actually two other circles that I noticed. We have this radius of 40, which is this tangent circle right here. Oh my God, that's a terrible circle. Imagine that's an actual circle. So it looks like it touches in a couple of different spots. It connects between our two circles right there. And we have the same thing going on right here. We've got another 50 radius circle that's touching over here and it's touching over there. So that probably means that we're going to have to use tangent radius circles to create that. And probably for this guy too. Tangent radius. And you may not have used that yet, and that's okay. Last thing let's check out is these shapes. This circle is going to be easy. It looks like the center point is in exactly the same spot. So if we can find this spot, we're good to go. Our hexagon is going to be a little bit weird. So as I look at it, we're told that we have 60 going from side to side. So I'm going to kind of imagine that as a circle. I wouldn't actually draw this on CAD. But when we draw this polygon, the tool is going to ask you for inscribed or circumscribed. So this one, let's see if I can spell it correctly, is circumscribed. Circumscribed, which means that the shape is outside of the circle. And so that means the distance from here to here is going to be 30. And that'll pop up later on. If it were inscribed, they would probably give us a dimension from corner to corner. Same thing for the square. You could probably use the rectangle tool, but polygon tool might actually be a little bit easier. So I'm going to imagine that this is 20 to 20 in this direction. So we have another circumscribed square, which means that we're going to create a circle that has a radius of 10. And then it looks like we just have a couple lines. We'll make that tangent. That's going to be nice and easy. All right, so here is our plan. We know we're in metric. We know our center point's going to be over here. We've planned out that I'm probably going to do this circle, this circle, this circle. I'll move to the tangent circles and then start dealing with this other junk and just kind of trim up and make everything look good. All right, let's jump over to AutoCAD and get it rolling. So now that we have a rough plan in place, we're going to start drawing. As I look at the dimensions on our document, we have some weird values like 60 and 70 and 25. And using those pretty big values, I can't imagine that this rocker arm is actually 70 inches from the middle to that outer little square. So this probably means that we're actually in metric. So we're doing centimeters or millimeters. So to change that, I am in my metric template, not my English template. And we go through the same process. I'm just going to go save as, maybe. We're going to name this one rocker arm. And then I'm going to make sure that, it is a drawing. And I'm going to slap that up in, I'm going to do my drive, but you guys should do your student drive. And I haven't made my folder yet. So I'm going to go O2 CAD snaps. I can't smell snaps. There we go. And then go in there and save. All right. Cool. Let's go. So we said that our center point should be the middle of that hexagon. So I'm going to start drawing there. I'm going to change my layers, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in the object layer. Remember, I'm in AutoCAD 2023, so yours may look different depending on when you're seeing this and what version you have. And we're told it's a radius of 50. So I'm going to grab my center radius. We're going to say 0, 0. And we're going to type in 50. All right, easy enough. Now, here is the new ticket item. Let's talk about snaps real quick. So snaps are going to allow us to connect to parts that we've already drawn really, really easily. So we don't have to measure midpoints or find intersections or centers. The program will do it for us. So if you want things to snap, you're going to come down here to snap mode. Notice mine is off. So I'm going to click that, and that will allow me to start to snap to things. But even more importantly, if we come over to this little grid right here, it says snap cursor to 2D reference points. I can pick a whole bunch of different ways to connect to things. So I can make a line on the quadrants of a circle. I can do it at the center of a circle, the midpoint of points, endpoint of points, tangent of things. And these will automatically snap. Now, the problem with snap sometimes is you might not want it to snap to tangent or perpendicular or quadrant or whatever. I think for our purposes, let's stick with center for right now. You can totally leave them on if you want to, and maybe endpoint. That might be good. We'll be using tangent in a little bit, and I'll kind of show you why we need that in just a moment. Okay, so we have our first big circle. I'm going to do the other two circles on the kind of the upper right and the lower left. So we are told that the top right one has a radius of 25. It is 70 to the right of our origin, and it is 40 up. So there's our location, and then it's a radius of 25. Now for our next one, to pull up the circle again, I'm going to right click and hit repeat circle because I'm lazy and I don't want to go all the way up and click that again. Now we're going to be going to the left, which is going to be negative 50, tab, and down, which is negative 60. And hopefully that gives us the location of our next little guy. Specify radius, what is that guy? 25 again, okay. Cool, so we have our little nodes right there. Let's do this little circle right here. This is where snaps is going to come into play. I'm told I need a diameter for that. So with my snaps on, I can highlight that circle and I can just grab that center. So I don't even need to measure or anything. And we have a diameter of 20. And that looks pretty good. All right. Not too shabby. I think I'm going to do the two circles here. And this has nothing to do with snaps, but it does have to do with a new kind of type of circle we can deal with called tan radius. And what that means is tangent radius. So I need to tell the program what two circles they need to be connected to, and then I can tell it what radius I want it to be. So this will give us our smooth lines. So it says specify point on object for first tangent. Let's go this guy. Snap to that. Specify point on object for second tangent. We want it to touch this, and then that is going to be a radius of 50. Boom. And notice it gives us a circle that touches both of them and has a radius of 50. Let's do that one more time. So I'm going to click on this guy, and this one has a radius of 40. Sweet. Now, obviously, we don't want the full circle, so I can go on up to trim, and I can just click on the crap that I don't want, and that stuff goes away, which is super, super nice. Okay, let's do our lines that are going to go on either side. Now, I want these to be tangent. I want them to be touching. I don't know exactly where they're going to be touching, and this is where snaps will come into play. So if I grab my line, I'm going to change my snap setting real quick to tangent. So that will allow me to click on my line so it touches both. And if I, let me turn these snaps off. Specify my first point. Come on, buddy, let me select you. What have I done? It keeps going to the center, and I don't want to go to the center. So I'm actually going to turn off my center snap because it's trying to choose something I don't want. There we go. So notice how when I hover close, we get that little tangent mark. So I'll kind of come up here and check that out. There we go. There's our little tangent mark. So I'm going to click. Doesn't actually matter where you click because it will wait until I'm tangent to something else. So I'm going to click there. Boop, and it's going to pop that tangent to both of those guys. I'm going to do the same thing. There we go. I'm going to hit tangent right there. I'm going to hit tangent right there and then escape. So I didn't even have to measure anything. My tangent snap automatically plopped it into that spot right there. Cool. Next skill, let's talk about polygons. So I'm going to grab my polygon tool. And it says enter number of sides. We have a hexagon for that middle guy. So I'm going to hit 6. Specify the center of the polygon. I can either click on my origin. I can do my snaps to get to that point. But I also know it's just 0, 0. And then it asks me to say, is it inscribed in a circle or circumscribed about the circle? So is it inside the circle we drew or outside the circle that we drew? So this one is going to be circumscribed. And the radius of that circle is going to be 30. So notice how it kind of snaps us right to that spot right there. And let me double check. Let's just make sure that our dimensions are good. I'm going to turn off my snaps because I'm tired of it clicking on that crap. And we see that it is 60 just like it is in the drawing. Okay, that's good. Let's see. I need to go back. I think yours is probably pretty easy to see. Let's do the square over there. I'm going to turn on my center snap again. And you could do a rectangle if you want to and just make sure that your values are the same. I'm going to do another polygon real quick. So this is going to be 4 sides. Either way works out. Doesn't really matter. Specify the center. And I'm going to hover over that and click right on the center of that circle. And just like it was before, it is circumscribed about the circle. It is outside the circle. And oh boy, it tells us to do the radius. I'm going to say my radius is 10. Sweet, there we go. So now we just have to clean up our piece. So I'm going to go up to the trim tool and I'm just going to click on all those little lines that I don't want until we get the shape that we want. And then your last step is going to be to dimension and put that on your paper layout, and we are good to go.